Peace. As always, back again. Hoping to find you in a better place than I last saw you in. Um, Hoping that you continue to grow on this journey called life, right? I know it's been a little minute. Well, it's not really been a little minute. It's been about a week. A week in the whole since the last time I did upload a video. But sometimes I don't wanna bombard y'all with too much. Sometimes I be wanting to hop on and say a little something, and then other times I just want to go ahead and just kick some facts about stuff that's going on. You know what I mean? And then also tie it into other shows that we had. You understand what I'm saying? And things that we have been building on. Just like most of the stuff that ended up happening on January 6th was months of material that I was covering about things that was going on in our society. You know what I mean? And a lot of people was thinking like, thinking that you just talking that black talk. You know what I mean? One over here, you know what I'm saying? On the A1 podcast, we do not talk black talk. We talk indigenous people talk. We talk, what I'm saying, Asiatic talk. We talk that Moorish talk. You feel me? Like for all my people who, choose to subscribe to one of those labels. But I tell you this, you know what I mean? One thing I want you to know is to know thyself, to know a little bit more about yourself. So as we go into, current events, we'll spin back and break down the subliminal meanings and other things going on. Because see, it's still a war on you, whether you just feel like you're being subjugated, which you are, what I'm saying, marginalized, which you are, you know what I mean? But, it's happening to you on so many different levels, you can't even, like, at first, when you first start to wake up from your slumber, the average person cannot even fathom this, right? So, excuse me, my voice my throat a little dry. So what I'm gonna do, right, is first I'm gonna start by going over some articles or some headlines that I read in some of the newspapers over the past week, right? Mainly yesterday, because that's what I like to do. Is catch up on all the news when I miss it. But even if I just don't read it on Sunday, I read throughout the whole week. You understand? But start with some stuff from yesterday. Uh, there's a newspaper called The Mirror. It's one of these European publications. You know what I mean? But the reason why I thought this was so interesting because in The Mirror they wrote there is a more deadly virus that could still emerge, as contagious as measles, as deadly as Ebola. The cause is said to be the spread of the viruses between animals, such as wild animals and farm animals, right? Saying that we keep destroying their habitats, making these mega cities, right? So all the animals from the woods and the forests, etc., they end up housed, right, next to chickens, like the bats, the chickens, and the fish in Wuhan, right? But wait, mind you, this is all in the Mirror's news article, so you can pull this up, Google it, Bing it, whatever, right? So it said, from wild animals coming in close contact with farm animals. They said because all these animals have their own viruses that tend to mutate over time, and then they keep mutating, and then they tend to jump to people. But hold on, wait, there's more. So it says that with the fear of spread from animals to people, right? As in such cases as in Africa with HIV, Ebola, Lassa fever, Marburg, and simian fome. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right myself, right? Then they said in China, SARS and COVID-19, right? Then they said in Latin America, Chagas, Macho, yeah, some of these names, I'm sorry, I can't really pronounce them like that. Pucho and hantavirus. Australia had the Hinder. Saudi Arabia had MERS. Now, they're saying all these countries had viruses, right, that infected and killed their human population, killed off numbers of people in their human population that came from animals, right? These viruses that were in the animals. But I noticed what they did leave out in that article was all those viruses that I know of, because I don't know all those viruses, but the ones that I do know of started with a scientist experimenting on animals. Then somehow it went from the animals to the people. And that's what they said about COVID-19, right? They said it was they have a lab somewhere not too far from their market, right? And they were experimenting on the strand of the coronavirus, right? And it might have got out. Somehow it got into the bats or whatever, right? Same thing they said with the swine flu, right? Y'all forgot about the bird flu. We all remember how HIV got here, right? The guy was using the rhesus monkey, but wait, he was using the wrong monkey. It still don't explain how these things come from the animals to people. But I digress. But at the same time, they give you all this information, giving you a warning, telling you to work, to look out. You know what I'm saying? Because something even worse could be coming. They're thinking it's going to be worse than the 19 whatever plague that was over in Europe that wiped out all those people when they caught the bubonic plague from all those rats. You understand? And that's what they keep pushing, but they're not telling you how you get in this stuff. You understand? So that's what you gotta understand something, man. Like when you read your news or listen to your local news, you gotta take it, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta read it objectively. You understand what I'm saying? Like you gotta listen to them objectively. Even when you listening to me, don't just take my word for it. Go ahead and do the research. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of stuff going on that's right in your face. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody playing three card Marley with you. You know they cheating you, right? You know the whole thing is a scam, but you sit there and you let this fool convince you that nah, you just wasn't fast enough to keep up with the little red ball or whatever. You know what I mean? So that to me caught my attention just because of the fact that it's we're not even done with our quote unquote pandemic right now. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, this is the same time that they're saying this has been the lowest ever um, deaths for what's that the flu. It's saying that this the lowest deaths the flu. This the lowest amount of people the flu has ever killed in Europe, but everything else is corona. You know what I mean? But that's a whole nother story. You know what I mean? Um, but it's just a thing. If you pay attention to the the news that I read that had interesting titles of what they said and what they didn't say, right? And I'm telling you, your local news or whatever major network you watch to stay informed, I'm telling you, they're 10 times worse, right? So it's like the next one was, Joe Biden's lady, right? Yellen said we could reach full employment by next year. How, Sway? How are we going to reach full employment by next year? And she was talking on CNN. You know what I mean? So you can go look that clip up or whatever, right? How are we going to reach full employment by next year when a lot of those companies that people were working for shut their doors forever to never reopen? And we remember the last time in '08 when we had the big financial crisis, right? Because the banks were too big to fail. All those jobs left, and people were going homeless, and all these houses were getting foreclosed on, right? So then they claim they brought jobs back, but remember, the jobs they brought back only made about a third. If you're lucky, if you made a half of what the job that you lost was making before all that happened, right? So pay attention to this. And mind you, we're in the middle of a pandemic, right? They want to lock us back in. Then they want to let us out for herd immunity. They don't want your kids to go to school. Now they want your kids to go to school. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's something, pay attention to it, man. Like, I've been talking about this for months. So I'm not going to keep beating you over the head with the same thing. But understand, man, it's more to that than meet the eye, man. That meets the eye. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't pass the smell test. You know what I mean? It's just a whole bunch of, it's some fugaziness going on, man. I ain't got to tell you what you already know. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you got to do your own due diligence, man, and look past that. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, people are getting sick, and yes, people are dying. But people were always getting sick, and people were always dying, too. You see what I'm saying? Not to say that there isn't a virus that's making pre-existing conditions, like worsening them. I've heard about people whole kidney and liver failure. You know what I mean? But again, goes back to the previous article. This was created in a lab by a man or a woman, and it got into an animal, then got into people. But I digress, right? So, as we're going through this, right? They still talking about putting people back to work, right? I heard about out in Chicago, Lori Lightfoot or whatever her name is, was trying to force the teachers to go back. Like she was trying to strong arm them, straight bully them, into going back to work with all these little kids and all that in the middle of a pandemic, right? She straight threatened them, you know what I'm saying, on national TV. But with that in mind, right, Bank of America, right, reported by Bloomberg, it's going to be some issue with the money, with the regular fiat currency that we're already using, right? Which people are already telling you is losing value by the day, right? To the point where everybody's trying to go digital to Bitcoin, whatever the coin of the day is, right? So Bank of America is having some internal turmoil. Dang, I can't speak today. I'm tongue tied all day, right? Having some internal turmoil, right? The trouble with them is these guys are working, right? You're on your job and you meet your quota, right? So you expect your bonus, right? You're trying to get paid, right? So then what ends up happening is the top 10% of their company still get their bonuses, right? But everybody else on the come up, they said, nah, what we gonna do is we gonna switch that rule around so y'all can't get y'all bonus until 2024. Mind you, the bonus is coming from 2020, right? We in 2021. But them cats got paid. They got their $1 million bonuses and all that. Matter of fact, come to think of it, it was another big company that was having some issues at the top to the bottom where Amazon, you know what I mean? I forgot which publication I read it in or heard it in. Jeff Bezos was taking the money, the tip money that you leave to the Amazon drivers. Them cats took like $65 million from all them drivers. You feel me? So it's like it's happening in real time. Like, you know what I'm saying, where you see in the caste system being set up right here in front of you. You feel what I'm saying? And you already know, as a melanated, original brother, sister of the diaspora, indigenous, you know what I'm saying? You already know. You already know where you being placed on the whole globe, all the way around, especially here in the land of quote unquote milk and honey, right? So understand, man, you gotta peep this. You know what I mean? It's a lot going on. Shoot. Even in one of the places where I go to get my money. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on, man. So, gotta stay aware and keep your head on the swivel. But next, I'm gonna say this. Cause I'm strategically trying to lead you onto how my day went and how my mind formed, right? On on these different topics. of the day and put you in some of the mental space that I be in sometimes, right? So CNN out of nowhere just goes and talks about these two Confederate statues in Georgia removed in 3 days, within 3 days from each other, like that. Some great big change, like it's a blow to systemic racism. How all the policies and practices are still in place. Did the are the officers in jail that killed Mr. Brooks? I want to think that's his name. See, so many of us get killed. You know what I mean? All over the country, it's hard to keep our names straight and where we got killed at, right? I want to say it was Mr. Brooks at the Wendy's. But I said that to say this: they still had their qualified immunity, right? They got their union rep and their union attorneys defending them, right? And if something does happen and they lose, they only gonna lose a civil suit, right? Where the state of Georgia and the county of Atlanta, whichever the county they were in for Atlanta, would be paying for that, right? So, and again, even if they lose, you still pay for it, right? So again, that's a false flag. That's a false moral victory that they just gave you right there. Talking about 2 days, two Confederate monuments were moved in 3 days. See, I'm telling you, man, these cats right here, they out here right now, and it goes back to the other article about all these viruses. They what how my grandmother used to say it. She said, these cats is throwing a rock and hiding their hand, because most of this shit is stuff that they done did. You know what I'm saying? On set in motion. You know what I'm saying? And we stuck in a reactionary place with it, and it's heavy, man, because it's like, a lot of times I don't know if y'all feel like this, but a lot of times, man, unless I'm with an A it like, B it like, C it like, it's hard to even communicate with most people because they're stuck and plugged into the matrix. They want to believe they're going to get that house with the picket white fence and the 2.5 kids, and they're going to move up, but they're going to move up by their boots. They're going to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and they just going to make it happen like that. For those of us who get it, and those out there who really get into that paper, all the sacrifices that you had to go through. And the average one of us, we're not conditioned mentally at this point in time to sacrifice for anything but our enjoyment. And that's just facts. You know what I'm saying? Because when you trying to get somewhere, man, you ain't even got time. But that's a whole nother topic. I digress. But I said that about them the statues, right, in Georgia, because the article and the story that they talk about, but they don't really talk about it no more, right? Is the brother from Lafayette, Louisiana. He was a sheriff deputy at the correctional facility down there, right? The brother was also a military veteran, right, with 2 children. He saw so much that he decided he was going to kill himself in front of an institution that basically stands as a monument of systemic racism and oppression, right? He was tired of the brutality, he said. He said he was also, he was just tired of the blatant racism and the double standards and all that. But they want me to be, not just me, but you too, to be happy about these damn statues, 2 statues. What the fucking do? You feel what I'm saying? I mean, that's just where I'm at personally. You know what I mean? I can't speak for you, but it's more that needs to be done, man. It's like we should have first crack at opening up any type of brick and mortar business in our community. We should have first crack at opening up any service in our community. See, that's the thing. They smiling in your face, but it's all about the money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm telling you, man, Puffy ain't lying to you. It's all about the Benjamins, man. They all in your face trying to get in your pocket. You know what I mean? They know you need something. You know what I mean? And they're trying to get it to the point where, it's like, yeah, you just gonna go to them because we can't sustain this. It's hard for us to sustain. They squeezing us out. But that's like, as you can tell, I got a whole lot, you know what I'm saying, on my mind. But I definitely want to put some of this stuff into context for you because this has been going on for so many years, and it's like, as far as the viruses are concerned, I keep seeing on the news that they always talking about they getting all these notable, indigenous faces and so-called heroes to go out here and take this poison, right? And then, I even seen Tyler Perry up there, and they had this fool doing a whole special on BET. Like that was just going to make me run down and go get this needle on my own. Feel me? After the Tuskegee experiments, after all the other experiments that they did on us. You know what I'm saying? And as far as I'm concerned, all that first article did was tell me that they still experimenting on people, especially poor people. You feel me? And the rest of the articles are telling me that, even though they try to give you these little so-called moral victories, right, with the statues and all that, your bosses are still taking your money, cheating you out your overtime, however you want to look at it, trying to say you're getting paid too much to do 3 times the work that you should be doing. Our people are getting fed up to the point where, this brother went after he served in this country. Then he went and did what's supposed to be a respectable job. He just couldn't take it no more to where he took his own life. I can't even imagine myself what goes through a person's head to get to that point where he's just like, fuck it, I'm going to end it all. You know what I'm saying? And he did it in front of them. He did it in front of his job, you know what I'm saying, as a statement, But, of course, they're going to sweep that under the rug. You know what I mean? But there's more. So then, okay. Oh, yeah. So the system of injustice still goes on, as reported by the Daily Beast. South Dakota Attorney General struck and killed a man during his Republican dinner in the summer. Mind you, my man is still at work, still on Capitol Hill, ain't spoke about it, ain't going to speak about it, and you know what I'm saying, it just is what it is. But let that have been you, me, or any other normal person, been under the jail, you know what I'm saying, they would revoke your license, had you out here looking like some type of damn monster, and all that. Because if he was coming home from a dinner in the middle of the summer, he was lit, he was drinking. You know what I'm saying? The wine was flowing, or the champagne, or whatever. They was thinking about how they gonna rob us someone. Bend us over. So he was lit. Ran the man over, then bat an eye. You know what I mean? And this one was very interesting to me. This was reported by NBC. Former cop Adam Coy charged in the shooting of Andre Hill in Columbus, Ohio. Bell said at $3 million, indicted on Wednesday of felony felonious assault, 2 counts of dereliction of duty, and this is the case. Yeah, this is the case where that brother. I don't know if y'all can recall, because this was a couple weeks ago, where the brother was standing in his own driveway. So police roll up on him while he in his driveway in his car, or around his car, saying that, yeah, we came over here because somebody was suspiciously turning the car off and on. You can turn your fucking car off and on as many times as you want to in your driveway. There is no reason for the police to come over here and then pull out a gun. They didn't say that anybody was over there selling drugs. They didn't say anybody was over there being loud and boisterous, right? They didn't say there was any altercation going on. They said the cars are getting turned off and on. And this man popped this dude. Like, he shot him. I seen the video. He shot him, and like, They said it was only like 30. It was only a couple seconds, wasn't even a minute. As soon as he saw that it was a black man in the dark, he popped, killed the man in his own driveway. Then was trying to come up with a story. So they charged this fool, right? But I don't see, again, like what I said earlier, it's not what they say, is what they don't say. They charged this fool with dereliction of duty, right? Basically saying he wasn't doing his job properly. Felony felonious assault. That is not murder. You feel what I'm saying? That is not manslaughter. They're not charging him. So basically, it's like, they basically slapping his hand, in my opinion. Because just from reading the charges from the grand jury, it sounds like he about to weasel out of it. Like, none of those charges sound like, manslaughter is you can get 5 to 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Easy. Murder one, murder, second degree murder. Like all those charges carry different statutes, right? And for the sentencing guidelines, and the fact that there's nothing about taking this man's life in those charges let you know it's just another empty gesture. Because last time I checked, the officer who kneeled on George Floyd's neck, after everything slowed down, they bailed him out. The little boy from Kenosha, he's out on bond right now. They can't find him. Just saying. I mean, stuff for you to think about. You know what I mean? Like, like I said, it's that 3-card Wally game. Yeah, I'll put him in jail. 2 months later, you can't find him. Where he at? Oh, he got out on bond. This motherfucker's getting out on $3 million, $2 million, $5 million bond. Where well, we know where they get the money from. You know what I mean? Just let you know, everybody's smiling in your face, but at the end of the day, they want your money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, keep eating at my restaurant. Yeah, that was wrong. Knowing that they got a hood in their closet. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about the white hoods, some of them funny colors. You get it. But anyway, yeah, that was something that brought me had me, just spinning in thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I figured I would share that with y'all after all the other stuff, right, that I have read and have seen and went through that day. So, the funniest one, well, it's not funny because I know somebody's parent is going to be highly upset. But this teacher, I want to say she was in Florida, right? This was in People. The girl's name is Amelia Ressler, a substitute teacher charged with 19 counts of child molestation, right? So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking like, well, maybe this substitute teacher was sleeping with a high school kid, that looked really mature, or maybe even like a real tall 8th grader, right? No, she was at the she was at the Mount Zion Elementary School. Pause. Let that sink in. She got charged with 19 counts of child molestation at an elementary school. So again, this goes back to the stuff I was saying months ago in videos about these sick motherfuckers out here, man. I mean, they doing all this wildness to the kids, and a lot of cats is just really lost in the sauce, man. You know what I mean? Like, we arguing amongst ourselves about trivial things, man, and most of the cats, it's Black History Month. Excuse me, Black History Month, and the average person don't even teach their kids anybody else other than what the institution, or i.e. the school, teaches their kids about their people. They only going to teach you a little bit about Martin Luther King, and as he had a dream. They will not talk to them about Malcolm X, we know why, but they damn sure ain't gonna talk to him about Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna talk. They're not gonna talk to him about Ida B. Wells. They're not gonna talk to him about Thurgood Marshall, George Washington Carver, all these inspirational people that we had. You know what I'm saying? So they damn sure ain't gonna talk to him about Noble Drew Ali. You know, you see what they say about the Minister Farrakhan, right? So I mean, it's almost like they alienate your kids at a young age from who they are. You know what I mean? They make it to love and embrace who you are, your roots, and your strengths a crime. Like it's like, man, you acting real black right now. How does that even sound? Right? You tell somebody you acting real black, you know what I mean, or you acting real niggerish. First of all, when it's a group of people, right, of common descent in a community, they tend to create their own cultures, right? And that's why hip hop, by some, myself included, is looked at as a form of our culture, right? You can debate if you want, but anyway, you know what I'm saying? It's looked at as a form of culture. So that's why it was supposed to not last as long as it did. And so they had to, as it kept gaining traction, they had to pull out the positive energy, right? And hit you with all the negative because all the self destruction joints is gone. You know what I'm saying? All those songs and messages is going self destruction. You know what I'm saying? Express yourself and all the positive stuff is going, right? What they call backpack music, right? That shit is dead, right? It's underground, not mainstream no more. But what's mainstream is, pop pills and get as high as you can. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. You know what I mean? You understand. You know what I mean? And that's not by accident. That's by design. Just like, you know, for some reason, they got you thinking the local drug dealer is worse than this lady that's working in the schools with your kids, doing all kinds of sick shit to them while you off trying to keep a roof over your head or make sure your refrigerator got food in it at night. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just, and like I said, it's supposedly a month that highlights our achievements, right? In this society that was with the odds stacked against us, right? But when was the last time that we sat down with one of our own, little one of our little child, one of our children or our nieces, nephews, cousins, whatever, neighbor, and just was like, asked them about somebody influential. Excuse me, I told you I'm having this is a terrible speaking day I've ever had in my life, and I could talk for those who know me, but when's the last time you talked to them about somebody that was influential to you? You know what I mean? Like anybody. You could have anybody. We have so many influential people. And when I say influential, I don't mean just no entertainer. Oh, Michael Jordan can jump. Yeah, okay, so what? You know what I'm saying? Steve Harvey, he's funny. No, so what? You could talk about Dr. Claude Anderson. You know what I mean? My man, I didn't know he was in he made it all the way from South Carolina into the cabinet in the White House. You know what I mean? As an economic advisor. Didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? And that's a beautiful thing to think about this man's mind. He knows money. What makes you think that Warren Buffett know money more than him? You see what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. Or like instead of, I don't have a daughter, but if I did, instead of having her look up to Oprah, I'd rather have her look up to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. You know what I mean? I think I think that's a phenomenal, you know what I'm saying, like that queen right there, man. You know, but I mean that's just personally speaking. You know what I mean? Those were just some ideas to kind of get the ball rolling. You know what I mean? As you can tell, when I started, I was a little tight. I had a lot of things going on, and yeah, for some reason, my mouth still ain't right. But you know, before we close out, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to give y'all a couple of just opinions, and I already kind of rolled in on that. My own personal opinions, not that I read. Well, it's based on stuff that I read, right? Because your opinions are some of things that you learn from other people on your travel in life, right? But anyway, I'm thinking like I remember as a child when we used to love we love the dress, right? I love clothes, right? We all like to put on a nice outfit and feel good. And I it goes back into the last thing I said, like with the hip hop, right? I remember at one point in time, it was no better feeling to walking in to any establishment and you had an indigenous Asiatic designer, you know what I'm saying? Like you repping your community, right? That's how it felt. Like just like when you was wearing the HBCU sweatshirts, you know what I mean? Or the cross colors, you know what I'm saying, with the X on it and all that. Or like, back in the 80s, you know what I'm saying, when they had the X Clan and the Zulu, the Zulu Nation with Africa Bambaataa, pause, we know that's out there. That's a whole nother thing. But the movement, that part of it, you know what I'm saying, is what I think of, right? To the point where I remember they had Calvin Klein, CK1, right? As a youth, I was growing up. Man, fuck that. We gonna get that Carl Kanai, that new Carl Kanai. That was all. That was it. You know what I'm saying? And as as it would so happen, years later, because I was wondering what happened to him, them white people burnt down that man mansion because he was doing too. He was growing too big. They didn't. You know how that go. But I said that to say this. So I remember over the summer with I want to say it was L&M, not LOM. It was H&M. I don't know, H&M. I know Gucci. With all their racist shit, right? Their racist clothing, and they want your money, right? Now Floyd Mayweather, that dude is different. You know what I mean? He marches to a whole nother drum. I mean, and it's sad because you know it seems like a lot of times he chooses to be ignorant on purpose. You know what I mean? But hey, but outside of that, I'm like, why do we all keep flocking to European and uh, Italian, like any type of European designer, right? And we become brand ambassadors of it, right? Oh, Gucci's the thing to have. Oh, nah, Goyard's the thing to have. Or nah, Louis Vuitton, nah, uh, yeah, nah, man. He don't love you, girl, until he gets you a Birkin. First of all, like I said, I love nice things too. We all love nice things, right? But I said it to think like this. Consciously, you're not letting your dollar circulate in your community. And that's when we become a threat. We were a threat when we allowed our dollars to circulate in our community, right? EI, Black Wall Street, or whatever. And it doesn't all happen on a splash, on a big scale overnight. It's small steps. And I said that to say this because we all like clothes. We all buy clothes, right? And I've been guilty of it before too. But I enjoy buying from my Asiatic designers like Nuwabia.com or the Dynasty. I forgot the other part of it. Dynasty 25. I think yes, Nuwabia Dynasty 25. Nagash. Um, I do Ramamar. Man, that's tell me. Don't let your boy hit it big. I'm gonna be Ramamar down. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, your favorite rapper's Gucci'd out. I'm Ramamar down, son. I'm telling you. Yeah, you don't know about that. I'm gonna put you on though. I'm gonna be a brand ambassador. But that was just my opinion on that because we got You know about 3, 4 people that make clothing. Shit, I know I do. I got at least I got one cousin. I got a cousin and a homeboy that make clothes. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I feel like I'm a piece of shit if I don't support you, but I can go support a European's business outside of my community, right? I don't give a damn. You know what I mean? What people think. If you my motherfucker, I should be able to buy this stuff, right? That's just my 2 cents on that. You know what I mean? Let you think about that and do with that what you will. The last thing, right? And this one had really got me going because I really wanted to do this last night, but man, I tell you. So I don't know if you've heard, but it's been a theory going around for years about the Planet of the Apes, right? The Planet of the Apes, the whole premise of that movie is supposed to be the fear of an indigenous or Asiatic planet, right? Where we're in control again, and we're like we're on top. You know what I mean? Like we set the laws, and what it is. But so that's the premise of that whole movie, and I didn't get it until I heard Pookie talk about it, Chris Rock, right? But after after I heard it and I kept watching, right? It made perfect sense. So then, as I kept learning the whole thing about King Kong, right? King Kong, they're coming out with a new King Kong. If you hadn't noticed, coming out with a King Kong versus Godzilla, right? Pete, King Kong is another big monkey, right? Same thing like Planet of the Apes, right? Monkeys, right? What do they want to call us all the time? Monkeys, right? So even in some of the Vanity NPR, no Vanity Fair NPR, who else wrote about it? There was a couple articles about the racial undertones of the King Kong movies since the beginning, right? But it's from learning from another person in our community. I want to say it was it Dan Calloway or was it one of the pillars? I don't know. It could have been Arcea. I like I said, I'll be listening, watching, reading. You know what I mean? But I said that to say this: King Kong is a real person. No, he was not a monkey. He was the king of the Congolese people that was invaded or colonized by the Belgian King Leopold II, right? So if you've ever heard about the the Holocaust of the Congo people, or the 100 million soul plus or more of people that he slaughtered, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a war criminal, and Belgium still owing people for that. I mean, like you worried about what the hell happened in the Holocaust? That was what supposed to be 6 million people. Anytime people getting fucked up like that is bad. You know what I'm saying? But 6 million people to 100+ million people, it's no comparison, man. They're not even talking about it. But let's get back to the basis of who King Kong is, right? So King Kong was the king of the Congolese people, right? But I I don't know his name. But they trapped him, right? Enslaved him and was bringing him across the water to Latin America somewhere. Because from what I understand, they still got the statue, right, of when he was went to escape and broke free from his chains, right, and they had a revolt. And whatever town or place this is in Latin America, they they have a festival to commemorate that. You know what I'm saying? Every year, they still have a festival now, right? And they got a statue of him standing like breaking the chains and like, you know what I mean? So with that being said, in order to keep him demoralized, they went ahead and then made this movie back in the day, King Kong. They turned them into an ape, right? Remember, us and monkeys, they got this fucking fixation with that. Then, not only that, who's the only one who could calm this savage, this beast down? A little white woman, right? And it's ill because as a child, I remember watching King Kong, right? And the woman is so small, it's like she's like an ant to him. Like, how is she? How is he attracted to her, right? Because that's the optical illusion and the mental game that they're playing on white women. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be these super sexualized beasts. You know what I'm saying? And we're even when we're young, we're grown and we're like, we're just uh, outrageously tall and big. Like, they think everybody's Shaquille O'Neal or LeBron James or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it was just something food for thought that you could check into yourself. And I'm gonna tell you, that ain't gonna be no easy find because I went back looking through it, and sometimes you have to go, and that's why it's good to be in the community because you would have to go to one of the other brothers that talked about it and get where they get their info and where they looked it up from. Because man, some of this shit they do not want you to know. But the other part to me is that after this summer, right, where we had all these protests and violent uprisings, right, and the chant Black Lives Matter now, right, where you even got white people walking with us out there, right? Oh, excuse me, not us, but for those of you who are out there. It's something to think about that now they're gonna put out a whole King Kong movie. You know what I mean? Like this giant ass ape, and then knowing the premise of where it come from. You know what I mean? To me, it was just food for thought. Especially if, it was something that I thought I should get to you guys, the little bit of knowledge that I did have about King Kong, the real history behind King Kong, you know, just to give you something to think about. You know what I mean? And that shit is heavy. You know what I mean? Like what? You know what I mean? Like you already know it's all out on us. You know what I mean? So they're like, yeah, no matter what, I look at it, they're like, yeah, y'all still niggas. You know what I mean? Y'all still monkeys. So, and then we'll revisit this after the movie come out. Because I know it's going to be some more subliminal shit, man. You know what I mean? But, yeah, definitely check up on that. And while you checking up on um, Leopold in Belgium and the original king of the Congolese people and the massacre. Now, the massacre will probably come up, but they ain't going to really too swift tell you about the king, of the Congolese people, aka Zaire, and all that. But you know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, hopefully um, I gave you some information you didn't know. Hopefully we grew a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, on this journey out here in this wilderness called North America as Asiatic, Indigenous, and Moorish people. Um, like I said, I always hope I leave you in the better place than I find you in. And again, peace to the universe, man, and peace to man, woman, and child, man. Stay up and keep growing up here, man. Knowing yourself in the end. Peace till next time, brother Tariq. I'm out.